Welcome to DC Fan Gives Hope. Right, I want to respond to some videos that was done by Geek Gamer. I'll put a link to the bottom of his the end of the video about here. Or it could be there, whatever. But this isn't an attack or anything like that towards him. I'm just using him as reference points on what other people may be thinking, because everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Like me and I could be wrong in your eyes, and he could be so right in your eyes and stuff like that. So I'm just getting my own personal opinion, and it's the truth is however you see it. So as I say, I was following this guy, Geek Gamer, and he comes across as a big Star Wars fan. And you can tell because he wears a Star Wars cap, he's got Star Wars memorabilia in the background. You sort of believe that he has followed Star Wars for many a times, and he didn't like The Last Jedi. He thinks that they totally destroyed the character and stuff like that. And with Man of Steel, he believes that isn't Superman, that Zack Snyder doesn't know who Superman is, by the way it's been done and stuff like that. He's not a big fan of the DCEU, and I'm thinking, no, I think you need to read more, basically. You'll get people out there and who claim to think that is their own version of who Superman is or who Batman is. Now, again, going back to what he also states is, you can see that he's got a helmet or a statue head or whatever of Kylo Ren. Now, I couldn't buy The Force Awakens because even back then I could see this isn't Star Wars, and I've made videos on YouTube about this before. And this isn't Star Wars. This is going to go downhill, and the villain was weak and everything else. So even then I knew this was bad, and the only reason why it was good because people like myself would be taking kids and everything else to see it because we grew up on it. And right away, watching the first one, I knew these weren't the characters that I grew up knowing. Now, one of his favourite games is Jedi Revenge of the Sith platform game. So that's sort of straightforward, and you can tell that this guy's a big Disney fan. He constantly says he's going to Disneyland and everything else. So for me, he comes across as somebody that just wants the nice sort of easy Disney sort of approach to things, because I believe he is a Marvel fan. And it's funny how he's been a Marvel fan and complaining that the Man of Steel isn't true to the character. And no doubt every true sort of Marvel fan that reads a lot of comics, because I've talked to a few, they have got most of the characters wrong, and they got Thanos wrong in the recent movie, and he claims that Thanos is a badass, and he's went and bought a new statue. And I'm thinking, have you actually read the Infinity War comic book? Have you seen the way they're portraying the bad guys in these Marvel movies? Now, he also states that Superman's standing amongst all the rubble, kissing Lois Lane at the end, and with all the destruction. And I'm thinking, did you actually watch that film? Did you actually notice that he's not actually Superman at that time? His credit is not even Superman. He is fighting for his life in a world that's not accepted him. And the only true thing that's accepted him so far is Lois Lane has accepted him, and he trusts Lois Lane, and he's just rescued her from what could be certain death. And as far as saving people, have you seen that? Do you remember the Avengers? You remember all the destruction those space aliens came down here? Now, Avengers, the Disney, they felt like they had to apologise because they saw the aftermath of some moaners or complainers about the destruction of Superman. They went, oh, we best not have that. We'll spend the rest of Age of Ultron trying to come across as though that. And some fans don't get that, because in comic books, especially Superman and Big Hulk or whatever, you get that destruction, but it's a comic book movie. And you have Superman, and what was good about Man of Steel is you have Lois Lane recognising him and putting all her cleverness and putting all this silliness of her not recognising him through glasses. Now, it was Zack Snyder also doing Watchmen and the 300, and listening to him talk, you will get to know, and all the references and Easter eggs he puts in this film, you cannot say with your hand on your heart that Zack Snyder doesn't get Superman. Superman started off as a sort of rough guy at the start. He couldn't fly, and he was close to be a vigilante as well. And so for Superman to stand in amongst, now as I say, the rubble. Have you seen the destruction in the Avengers and everything? Anyway, so, and when you look at the destruction in Metropolis, it's only a wee square block of it. You know, there's not much thing with it there. But again, he can't fight back against Zod, who is just as powerful as he is, and he's only just discovered his full potential and powers. Zod learns quick because he's army trained, but again, maybe this was too heavy a story for you. But then again, you said you've liked The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight, as Christopher Nolan said, isn't Batman in the comics. So how can you say that The Dark Knight, that is the Batman that you know? You know, it's very unfair to say that isn't our Superman, because there's so many. I can show you so many different comics of Superman killing Zod, and having to face up. And yes, you did have a point when you actually said that Man of Steel made Superman more three-dimensional, that there was a lot more layers to him. And that's what he is, but you couldn't understand that this was a part of his journey when he just becomes Superman. You can't be all good at from start. You have to go on this self-discovery and find your true potential and find out, how to be Superman. You don't just wake up and all of a sudden you're Mr. Goody Two-Shoes and then you become Superman. I mean, Smallville took 10 years. So, it pains me when I hear people claim to think, but this guy has came across as really a DCEU hater. All because of one reason, that he is, because he believes that he, in the books he's read, that isn't him. Well, I think really a lot more people should be reading more books and understanding that every book that portrays every character portrays them in a different way. Every writer or artist portrays Superman in a different sort of mannerism. And what you got with Man of Steel as well, after he was forced to sacrifice his soul to kill Zod because there was no other exit, he was going to kill that family. But he learned from that. He learned the price of that. And then people could relate to them. And not a lot of people could relate to Superman in the 60s and the 70s. And that is something you've got to understand. I mean, I can fathom the now, but as I say, looking at this person's room, he's more into Disney, Star Wars, or Marvel, and you can say all you want about Rotten Tomatoes or the cinema score or the audience score or whatever to say if it's a good or bad film. You can say that. You can say you didn't like it, yeah, but you cannot say that this isn't Superman unless you've read so many books, and then you can see all the different adaptations of this character's journey. And Superman in comic books I have read can be a dick sometimes. Turns a blind eye into things going on. Look at Identity Crisis. When he knows what happened to a certain character in the story, but he turns a blind eye and closes his ears to that. You know, so he's not all that good. And as I say, with Man of Steel, you know, he's fighting three gods. He's fighting, you know, and he's just rescued this Lois Lane from the claws of being swept up and dying. The one woman that trusted him, and the one woman that knew where he was coming from. And so, you know, and she's glad she's alive. Of course she's going to say, "Man, you've done it, you know, you've saved it." He did all he can do. He could save as many as people as he can, because he was either up against Zod or three other people. That has been realistic. That has been... You don't want a film to somehow try to explain to you or people in this building is saved, or people. There has got to be some sort of risk. For me, Avengers and Marvel never have that, and whoever dies in Infinity War, I know will come back. You know, but with Superman's death, there was, you know, and coming back, he then realises what he, you know, he's come to terms of who he is and his responsibilities and everything else, and through all the past labours of Hercules, so to speak, what kind of happened in Smallville. So, yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder, Sucker Punch, 300, think of these films, Sucker Punch, very graphic novel, Watchmen. He would have to have read the book and take that into account. You know, he was shaping these actors into the bodies that we all knew from the comics. You know, he was given more an updated version of these heroes for a modern audience. Look at New 52, a different Superman there. Look at the Superman we have just now. So many different versions of Superman. And more people come towards that. So try not to come across... I am biased. I agree, because I am here and I'm speaking about DC. I am speaking about DC. But don't... and I'll probably contradict myself as well. Of course, as this gamer has done many a times. Because, as I said, Dark Knight wasn't Batman, but it was based on the character of Batman. It might not be the Batman I read in comics, which it wasn't. I think Batman Begins was the closest thing that came to the comics. But I can understand that the director was done that. And not only that, Christopher Nolan was behind Man of Steel to bring it to a modern audience. And that is hard for a director to make it, you know, for people to get it. To get who Superman is. And I full-heartedly believe you understand Star Wars. I full-heartedly, because all your fan bases behind you is all Star Wars memorabilia and the cap all the time. But for you to stand, for people like you to stand and say that isn't Superman, that isn't, you need to start showing proof how much of a fan you are of those comics. Because right now, a lot of people who say that we believe are fake fans I haven't read that many, but these are just my opinion, and that is what I am faced with on a constant basis. And that is what some Marvel fans have said to me, that their fellow Marvel fans who shout out against the DCU are just fake fans. And this is coming from a Marvel fan, and this is, I have read these comics. Thanos was never like, Thanos was weak, and this is what they promised us. And look at the villain, and in this movie, they ruined it. So what is the undertone of this video? The undertone is, I would be acceptance and the lack of understanding of what directors are trying to do, and to bring the mythology of superheroes to a more modern audience that expects more, and to claim that Zack Snyder, who is, he's a good, great director that took BVS and put so much stuff in and Easter eggs. I mean, this guy put a lot of Easter eggs in these movies. Now, and some Easter eggs you won't spot straight away, and that is for somebody that knows the character. He helped shape Wonder Woman. He had to leave Justice League, but now people are petitioning for him to, to finish his work. There is a big cry out for actually, don't go out and say certain directors don't know about a character. Do your research first. Find out if he has a comic collection. Find out if he's got a tattoo on his hip. But just, but do that first. And then show us the proof that he doesn't know who Superman is. This Ryan Johnson, he may, whoever the guy's name was, whoever done Star Wars, he might know who Luke was, or he might know who all these characters was, but he didn't respect them, and he changed their characters so much in this that there wasn't 1 ounce of what Luke was in any of these films. But with Man of Steel, with Man of Steel, it's a man becoming Superman. That's all I need to say. Leave your comments down below. Maybe you totally disagree with me, maybe you hate me, but it's something I come across every day, and that isn't ours, and I get you. I do understand you that is not how you see these characters. But try to see where the director or the storyteller in comic books is trying to take you, trying to give you something new to look at. This is why we always get the new origin stories, because it's a new beginning, and a new, like Superman Year 1, Batman Year 1, or Superman Earth 1 and stuff, But Star Wars was never in comic books. Well, no, sorry, they were in comic books, but they started off in the big screen. Movies started off in the comics, and you've got to sort of pay homage to the different, and as I say, Batman and Superman, they changed throughout the years in personality, through the times, through the 60s, 50s, they were all kind of camp and everything else, which was true to Christopher Reeve. But when you read the comics, when Man of Steel came out, I thought, finally, that is why I like Superman. He can make mistakes, he can do this. The director gets it, he gets the journey. Well, thanks for listening anyway. I will do probably a video next about why I love DC more than Marvel. That'll probably be my next video. Thank you, and mind, check out my Facebook page, DC Fan Gives Hope. And please share this video. Please subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Thank you.